speech is my entire team sucks, but we love them anyway. Exploring the reasoning behind Mets fans. And a big mystery is with the perennial World Series contenders right across town, why do Mets fans have such a loyal fan base when they're so bad all the time? Now, me being a Mets fan and a knowledgeable one, I'm going to explore the reasons why. And it's not scientific, but I found that there's three primary reasons why we love our team so much. With the first being that being a Mets fan builds strong character. The second reason being the few times the Mets do great things, it makes those moments a lot more precious. And the third being that the Mets always represent the underdog. And we're going to begin with the first reason. Being a Mets fan builds strong character. And the very nature of baseball requires a lot of patience and a lot of hard work and development. Good teams aren't made overnight, especially not the Mets. And you can see this through the Tampa Bay Rays, the Phillies, the Tigers. All of them were horrible teams in the 1990s. But now look at them. All three of them have recently been in World Series. The Phillies won the World Series a couple of years ago. And that's just the very nature of baseball. And I also read in this blog by Pete Burrell that being a Mets fan translates into life lessons of patience, humility, and faith. And I'm going to show you this video clip of David Wright, the Mets' third baseman. And this is a game-winning, walk-off hit against the Yankees in 2006. See how happy he is. And that's just an example of the patience, because he was drafted in 2004. It took him 3 full years to get to start playing in the major leagues. So you can't just draft players and just have them produce right away. It takes a lot of patience, and especially in these trying times, virtues of patience, faith, and humility, they go a long way to getting through problems today. And the second reason why being a Mets fan is why we love the Mets so much. We really appreciate the special times the Mets do great things, because it doesn't happen very often. And you could relate this directly to supply and demand in economics. Because the Mets doing great things is so rare, there's more demand for it, and it makes it more valuable to us. We appreciate it a lot more when it happens, compared to, let's say, if they won every single game, or if they won the World Series every single year. It'll be a lot more common, and those moments will become less special, and we won't appreciate them as much. And this is exemplified by, I read on this blog, he didn't give his name, he just gave his internalized X log. He was saying how growing up in the 80s, the New York Mets took over the New York baseball scene, because in the 80s they were good. And right in the 80s, it was all about the Mets. No one talked about the Yankees, because the Yankees were bad. And another example was when Mike Piazza hit a home run, the game-winning home run, in the first baseball game after 9/11. And that was going on during a pretty disappointing season, 2001. But still, that's considered one of the greatest moments in Mets history, because it united the city, and it was just such an uplifting moment. And I'll show you another great moment, my personal favorite. My personal favorite Met moment was Eddie Chavez's game-winning catch, and this is from a live angle, so it gives a lot more feeling. They ended up losing this game. They ended up losing that game in a very disappointing fashion, but still, even today, everyone loves that moment. Everyone cherishes that catch because it was just so uplifting. It was so great. And the final reason is that, oh, sorry. The final reason is that the Mets always represent the underdog. And people always root for the underdog. It serves as inspiration to overcome any sort of adversity or conflict or stress in your life. Everyone can always relate to that. And the Mets set the standard in 1962 during their first season. They posted the worst season ever. No one has been that bad yet. They won 40 games and lost 120.
Wow.
No one has ever been that bad since. So that's how they set their standard of just being horrible and always being losers. And their first the first season when they really inspired everyone was in 1969, their first championship season. They started off, mediocre, and then there were 9 games back in late August, and then they ended up winning like 38 of their last 49 games to get into the playoffs. They got through the playoffs. They defeated the Baltimore Orioles, who were a far better team, and that was like the miracle Mets. You know, the underdog came back and won. And another example is in 1986 when they won the World Series again against the Boston Red Sox. Twice they came within their last strike of losing the entire series, but they came back and won. And to date, they're the only team to ever come within 1 strike of losing the World Series to recover and win. And I'm actually going to show you the moment that this happened. Any Met fan would know this moment.
This is Bill.
So right now, I believe it's a full count, 1 strike left. The Red Sox have it in the bag. This is only game 6. Look, routine ground ball right through his legs. And here comes the winning run, and they would win the next game. And that's just an example of the Mets being an underdog. They were going to lose, and they came back against nearly impossible odds, and that just serves as inspiration to us Mets fans. And any fan loves their team, no matter how bad they're doing at the time. But the thing that makes the Mets so special is that they always give Mets fans something to believe in, something to have faith in, no matter how bad they're doing. And most Mets fans know that their patience, their suffering, their heartbreak, season after season, it's all going to pay off in the end. Because that one year when they win the World Series again in an improbable fashion, because no one expects them to win, that moment is gonna have a lot more value and be a lot more special for us than any other baseball moment could hope to give us.